Our next guest is an Emmy-winning actor you know from films like The Big Lebowski, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, and Do the Right Thing, as well as series such as The Night Of. He stars in the critically acclaimed series Severance. New episodes of the second season premiere Friday. Yeah, give it up for Severance, everybody. Who are kidding? Let's take a look.
Hey! Turn her back, Mr. Milkshake! What are you doing, man? Turn her back! What the She's an outie! Hey! Irving, cut it out! Stop! She's been an outie the whole time! Ever since she came back! Irving! You stop! No! Stop it! Irving, stop this! She's a What are you doing? I'm gonna kill her, Mr. Milkshake!
Very intense clip. Please welcome to the show, John Turturro, everybody! Welcome to the show, John.
Hi.
I'm thrilled you're here.
Nice to be here.
This is a fantastic show. I love it so much. It's such a visual show. I'm wondering, when you read the script for the pilot, did you have any sense of what it was going to be like?
Not really visually, but I thought it was very well written and very original. You know, I think Dan Erickson wrote it. He was working in a door factory without any windows.
Yeah.
So obviously, this is what he came up with.
Yeah.
So, but I've had jobs where you fantasize I'm going to escape and I'm going to be someone else, and it's part of life, splitting yourself.
Yeah, it's so wonderfully executed. The clip we just showed, you were actually outside, which must have been nice because. This is a very claustrophobic show by design. As an actor working on the show, do you feel that claustrophobia?
Well, I hate fluorescent lighting.
Yeah.
So,
it's a very fluorescent lighting show.
It has a low ceiling and a green carpet. And the first year we did it, it was during COVID, we had masks and shields.
Yeah.
And so, we didn't see everyone's face sometimes to the end of the season when we were able to take our masks and shields off. But, we would be the only people unmasked when we were acting. So it was very strange.
Yeah.
So that added to the show, the paranoia of the show, and also getting lost in the hallways.
That I wanted to ask, because it is a practical set. Have you actually ever gotten lost?
Always.
Really?
Always.
And so they just have to go find you?
Yeah, like Chris Walken always would say, well, it's like we're in, Tiberia or something like that, or, we would just... it was easy to get lost.
Christopher Walken, who you were old friends with, you have a wonderful love story in this show. Yes. Is it true that you pitched Christopher for the role?
Yeah, well, they wanted me. I was very attracted to doing the show. I thought it was, well written, but I have this sort of love interest, and I said, well, it has to be someone who I know and I could have fun with. Yeah. And so I mentioned Chris, because I've worked with Chris, and I admire Chris. And Ben, of course, loved that idea. And, and then I called Chris up, and I said, Chris, it's going to be this show. And he was like, who's in it? Oh, yeah, Ben, yeah. Love him, and he's really a great actor. I've seen him on stage do so many different things. And he's a very sensitive guy, too, even though he's played scary roles. Usually the people who play like really crazy roles, they're actually the nicest people.
Yeah, it's good to know.
Yeah. People who play the heroes, watch out.
Don't trust them.
Yeah, don't trust them.
Don't trust them.
No. That's
because those roles make them crazy.
Yeah, that's right.
They start thinking they're a real hero.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, but I love working with him. And it's also, as you know, when you have fun with someone, it can be easy to then have imagine that you have this close relationship. Yeah. But we just laugh, about it. Sometimes he doesn't understand. A few times he said, I don't really understand this scene, And I was like, and I would just say, Chris, listen, you look at me, I look at you. You want to get naked together, you know what I mean? That's it. That's what it's about. It doesn't matter what we're saying. You know what I mean? Because people do that in real life. They have this objective that's going on. They're talking, but meanwhile they're thinking, I really like Seth, and I really want to see him later. You know what I mean? And so, he's just a delight, and he's a real like a jazz player. So you can kind of bounce the ball back and forth.
You've directed him as well.
Yeah, directed him 3 times.
Do you find him an easy actor to direct? Is he good at taking notes? Yeah.
Yeah, he's easy. He played this critic once in a movie called Illuminata, and he was in love with Bill Irwin, who was a great physical actor and a wonderful actor. And they were just, delightful together. But Chris would try anything.
Yeah.
I mean, he did things that I was like, I can't believe he would even do this. He was trying to seduce the guy, and he threw his legs over his head once. And I was like, Chris, what are you, I wasn't commenting that it was bad. I said, wow, that was really interesting. What were you doing? He goes, well, it was like getting diapered. And I was thinking, babies do that.
Yeah, they do it, but it's not seducing.
No. But, it's an angle.
It's an angle. if you're trying something that hasn't been tried before.
If you're 6 months old, it's an angle.
That's true.
That's all you know. You don't
Certainly,
have language.
If I ever saw an adult do it to me, I wouldn't be like, that old move.
No, we were crying. But, I think when you're an actor who's brave and you try things, sometimes maybe that'll work, but maybe the next thing you try can be informed by that.
Yeah.
And you're much more relaxed. And that is very helpful.
Speaking of bravery and trying something new, I don't know if it required bravery for you or not, but you got asked to do a runway show for Xenia.
Yes.
Okay, how did this come about?
Well, I was going to be there, and I was doing this little short film for them, and they asked me, had I ever walked a runway? And
Where was the runway? Was it,
in Milan.
It was in
Milan.
Wow,
I was going there.
Milan runway, that's the real runway.
The real runway. And then they said, would you want to walk? And I said, I've been asked before. When I was younger, Romeo and Juliet, I did a catalog for, but I never did. So then they asked me to try this giant coat, and I thought I sort of looked like a pimp in it. And but then they showed me the rest of the outfit the next day, and my agent, Christina, she talked me into it. And I almost got cold feet right before, because I was online with all these, 18, 19-year-old, very thin, beautiful guys, and I was thinking, what the hell am I doing on this line? And and when we did the run-through, backstage, they didn't have any glow tape. So they had someone help me through. But then I went in and I said, is someone gonna help walk me through? They said, no. And it's all in Italian, so I know some Italian, so I go to the left, and they go, no, non è sinistra, a destra. And I was like, oh my God. And I finally made my way onto the
Let me just
runway.
say, I mean, what a well-to-do pimp.
Yeah.
I mean, you look great.
I consider myself really a professional model.
Oh, so now...
Yeah, I do.
So
I just act on the side.
Gotcha.
That's it.
So mostly it's full-time modeling and a little bit of acting.
I've always, I've always really wanted to be a model. You know what I mean? I was in an acting class with all models at Carnegie Hall.
Oh, there you go.
Ago. Yeah.
Well, this is fantastic. I'm glad it finally worked out. And I'm glad also, let me just say for the rest of us, I'm glad you're still doing a little acting on the side for us. Because I'm a huge fan. I love the show so much. Thanks for being here, guys. John Turturro, everybody. New episodes of Severance premiere Fridays on Apple TV+. We'll be right back.